pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, everyone. We have a pretty packed meeting tonight with 3 public hearings. So as I go through the agenda, I'm going to suspend the order of the agenda. I'm going to take public comment at the end of the meeting. And I'm going to move right to board and committee reports. So the report of the chair is I signed the PR 2303 for Julie O'Brien, the PR 2303 for the Select Board. I signed the VW 2303 for Dana Packer, that was for mileage. And I signed the VW 2302, a Staples order for office supplies. I also want to make a comment that August 31st is fast approaching, and we have the Newbury Cookbook project. And this is a wonderful opportunity to be a part of creating a lasting keepsake for the Newbury community and beyond the community cookbook. The idea is to weave the story of Newbury, past, present, and future, through treasured recipes and shared memories. The Community Cooks is an initiative of the Newbury Town Day Committee, the family-friendly day of fun that happened on June 18th, which celebrates our town's creativity, history, and culture. You can take a look at some of the recipes contributed so far. You'll get a kick out of them. I know someone went to the Museum of Old Newbury and dug up some recipes from the 1700s and put them in here. So it's going to be good. So I'm going to leave, I have flyers. I'll leave them up here, actually down that end. And anybody wants one, you can please take one or reach out to Julie, can give you the information on how to how to participate, and I'm hoping everyone can participate. Under grants, gifts, and donations, we have a Council on Aging donation for Dave Winters for $25.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A Council on Aging donation for Alan and Mark Fisk for $10.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Aye. We have a Purple Heart Ceremony donation, which is a wreath from Bill and Jerry DeMayo, and I believe that's out on the upper green currently.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have 3 public hearings that have to begin by law at 7:15. So I'm going to move right to new business. I'm going to ask Coat Sweep. Is Becky here? Hi, come on up.
Can I come?
Yep, come right up here. State who you are and what.
I did not know I would be at a big meeting like this.
They're all here to
And I
hear.
speak
They're
to
all here to
myself.
hear you.
Yeah, and you're on TV, so you'll get more.
So my name is Becky McKnight. I'm actually a resident of Newburyport. And I want to host a beach cleanup on Plum Island. I did this pre-COVID for 2 years, and it would be part of the CZM's Coast Sweep program. So that is a program where they have, they support the beach cleanups throughout the state in the fall, like in the September timeframe. And the people who collect, so volunteers coordinate a beach cleanup, and then at the cleanup, volunteers who are actually collecting the trash fill out data forms, and that are all standardized. And the data forms are then collected by the coordinators. The coordinators send them to the state, and then the state sends them to the Ocean Conservancy, which is a large nonprofit. And so then they use the data on, and the data is things like, what they collected, how many items. And so then the Ocean Conservancy uses that data to inform policy about marine debris and their efforts to, to help the problem. So it's a state-run program. I'm just a volunteer, and Alicia asked me to come and present this to you. So what we did before was set up a small table at the Island Center parking lot, and then the date I selected was Sunday, September 18th. And I did that because I have children that play soccer, so Saturday is out. And so, as do a lot of people that I know. So it would be Sunday morning. I think I would, if it's okay with you, I would set the rain date for the following Sunday, like if it's really rainy. So, but if it's just drizzling, people can collect rain in the drizzle, so we would do it.
Yeah.
Mostly rain or shine, from like 9 to 12. And I think I would just make parking, like, figure it out, because I know it's a little tricky out there. But is that lot open across the street, the pay lot?
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
open. The lot right at Center Island, that's resident only. You need a sticker to park
Right,
there.
right. But I could tell people they can
Yep, they can park
pay.
across the street,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so, yeah, and people just come to the like table I have set up, and they get, I'm gonna ask people to bring buckets if they can, because that's actually like a 5-gallon bucket, because that's actually good for picking up trash on the beach. And I can give them supplies like gloves and that the state provides, so like gloves and bags and the data sheets. And then they go off, and then they bring me back their trash and their data sheets, and that's really it. So it may cross over into Newburyport, because I might send, if people know the island well, I might send them up, like have them drive up to the northern end. But we would stay north of the refuge boundary, because the refuge also has a cleanup around through this Coast Sweep program. So the idea would be to do it on the Newbury and Newburyport owned beach.
Right.
And that's it.
Just so you know, we don't have any jurisdiction over the city of Newburyport.
Yeah, no, I know.
To ask them.
Sean is my neighbor, so I'm just, I don't really, I mean, I don't know if I need permission, but I'll talk to Sean about it, so.
Yeah, that's great.
Sean, sorry, Mayor Reardon.
Mayor Reardon, yes.
Sorry.
Okay. I think it's great that you're doing this. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just kind of a pet passion, I guess, of mine, so, and I am, I've worked with CZM a lot in the past, so,
Good.
yeah, so.
Right.
It's being done quite a bit in different parts of the United States, too. It's really,
Yeah.
because there's different currents in different places, and they're trying to decide where some of this stuff is coming from. and
Right.
That's why they're data logging it, so it's good,
And it's also an opportunity for people to participate in what would be considered citizen science.
Yep.
So it's like, I'm a scientist myself, so I think it's really important for people to feel like they are contributing. And then when they, especially children, like if they get to collect data, then they see how the scientific process, like field work, works. So I think it's a really nice introduction for that, for not just for young people, but so I like that aspect of it, because I think it makes it feel a little like you're doing a little bit, you're just adding a little bit more to the process. So
Any other questions from the board?
I do have one question for you guys. In the past, the town came and took the trash away that I collected, which was a very nice perk. I can take it and take it to Georgetown. It depends on how much we get. It's just that if that's possible, that would be great. I think I left the bags, and then the town, someone
Got
came
the
and
right guy right there.
someone came and got them.
Here's the director.
Okay.
We can take care of it.
So would you like me to just leave the bags there, like
You
in
can
a?
just leave it bagged so we can easily pick it up. And
Yeah.
we'll take
The
it.
problem
Yeah.
is that a lot of it is microplastic, so like the people end up with this huge bag, and so what I would prefer is people to bring buckets, and then we can combine it,
Yeah.
so we use fewer plastic bags, but I can't really control whether
Yeah,
people
no,
do that,
but,
so.
yeah, we'll just make sure Monday morning we come down and
Okay,
take
great.
right care of it.
Okay, and if I change the date because of rain, should
If
I?
you- Yeah, if you let even Julie know, she'll.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Just for ease, where will you be dropping these bags off so you'll be able to find
They'll
them?
be at the Center Island parking lot. I mean, I'll put them to the side, so they're not like
Okay.
blocking up paid parking space, but
Yeah.
if that's okay with you.
Nope, that works.
Okay.
So what were the 2 dates that you were
So
requesting?
the 18th is, and then I think I would set it for the next Sunday.
25th.
If the rain
25th?
date for the 25th.
So I'll entertain a motion to allow Coast
Coast Sweep.
to do a beach cleanup on 9/18 with a rain date of 9/25.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Should we get some chairs?
John, are there a lot of people out there? Do we need more chairs? There's an empty chair here. And there's, I think, empty chair over there. Thank you. Okay, we have a couple more minutes, so I'm gonna, again, jump around in this agenda. So we have a one-day liquor license for a wedding at Spencer P.S. Little Farm. I'll entertain a motion.
I'm gonna recuse.
Okay, you're recusing. Jeff went for a walk. Trying to get more chairs. Well, there's 3 of us here, so. All right, she's gone.
I think that's fine.
So what are we doing?
Okay, so JR's recused. I'm gonna entertain a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for a wedding at Spencer P.S. Little Farm. Jerry moved it,
Okay, second?
and Jeff seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. You can get JR back. JR.
Right there.
Okay. A new business license for Ari Shin, DBA RETTT, 65 Newburyport Turnpike in Newbury. It's a tattoo studio.
Motion to approve.
Second, is anyone here? that
Is anybody
wants-
here from the new business? Come on up.
It's free publicity, so.
Yeah, you're on TV. Tell us all about your business.
Hi. So my name is Ari. I just finished an apprenticeship with Elise. She's the owner of Boston Born Inc. And so I'm actually planning to move. And I talked to the Department of Health, and they've approved for like the permit for tattooing. And then we weren't sure if we needed a license, but I just wanted to cover all my bases. I'm going to be here maybe for a couple more weeks and maybe coming back for a couple guest spots here and there. So I brought Elise with me, but she had to step out.
That's
So I don't know
okay.
how it works because I think she's only licensed for herself at this point. She doesn't have like workman's comp or anything for employees. So I didn't know if it's like renting a chair. Like
But
at the-
you'll have your own license. Well,
So I have
thank
my
you
own
for,
tattoo license.
and you'll have your own business license. In other words, working under her, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess we're trying to figure out how that would work. Could I go under her business license, or would I need my own for
Well,
doing
you're
the guest
applying for
spot?
your own business license, correct?
Right, just to cover my bases. But they said I could come to the hearing and maybe even check to see if I needed a business license for the amount of time I'll be here and
Well, I think
practicing.
you could cover your bases. What do you think, JR? I think it's probably a smart thing to
I mean,
do.
Okay.
you have Martha here too. We always depend on Martha. Any input on that, Martha, on the licensing end?
I think it might be more Peter than me.
All right,
Yeah, I mean, it's the state that regulates most of that, I would imagine.
So like when a hairdresser rents a chair from somebody, do they have to get their own business license or?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So I think you're best to cover your bases.
okay,
All right?
Great.
Good luck.
thank you.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Yep.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
It's time, Alicia.
It's 7:15.
It's
Okay.
time.
So we have 3 public hearings tonight. The first one is a petition for a joint identical pole location, and I would like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm going to
Now you
recuse
read it.
myself.
Yeah. Oh, let me, can,
And-
JR?
yeah, here's the,
JR, read that. So tell everybody you're recusing yourself.
yeah, I'm in a butter to the governor's, so that's why I'm
So
recusing
you can
myself.
go out this side door here.
It's open.
Thank you, Dana.
Sure.
Okay.
Notice is hereby given that the Newbury Select Board will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 at 7:15 PM at Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass., on the petition of National Grid and Verizon New England Incorporated. Plan number 287-67660 requests permission to install 5 JO poles, 142, 141, and 140, and also 139 and 138 on Middle Road in Newbury, Mass., and erect and maintain poles and wires together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as it may find necessary, and also to lay and maintain underground laterals, cables, and wires in the above or intersecting public ways. Newburyport Daily News, please publish once, August 8th.
Okay, is John here?
Yes.
Why not?
How are you?
Terrific.
That's always the right answer.
It's great to do these a couple times. Petition before the board is actually a revision to a previous approved petition a couple months ago. After starting construction and doing dig safes, we found that there was a lot more underground facilities already in the area of where some of the poles were supposed to go. The school produced some of the information that wasn't available otherwise, and we thought it was best to relocate some than get involved in something that might cause trouble for existing underground services. A lot of communication there for the school. So I submitted a revision to that petition to relocate one on the other side of the street and add one to make up some differences. Since the original petition, the school has also done some extensive tree work, and that gave us some other options that we didn't have before anyway. So construction and the school agreed that they'd rather have us change it than try and go through with it as originally planned.
Okay.
That's all.
Any questions from the board?
Is there anything involved in that, John, that would be injurious to like the public ways for plowing or anything? I mean, they're in the right of way, they're off the way.
They're at the edge of pavement,
Okay,
off the edge of pavement. There isn't much to work with on either side of the road there. There's wetlands involved here. So we're limited as to where they can go. I think now, since the project's underway and the new building and everything I think when funds are available, they're also going to consider sidewalk that they weren't considering before.
yep.
So we've got to make allowances for that in location of our stuff as well. 'Cause it's a little distance, I mean, I know it's quiet, but it's a little distance to go from the existing facilities the school has. Originally, it was just the maintenance garage at the location, but now where they're putting the new studies building there, they're most likely going to extend the sidewalks down the street as well. So we're trying to allow for that.
Okay. Jerry, you have any questions? JR?
No.
Me either. Okay, so is there anybody here from the public that would like to speak to this public hearing regarding the poll at Governor's Academy? Poll relocation? Okay, seeing none. Julie, have we received any written correspondence on this?
No.
No, nothing.
And we did receive the abutter notices.
You've got the,
also,
but,
yeah, and
okay,
the
so you got
legal
all
ad.
that stuff back,
Yes.
and you got the tear sheets and all that
Yes.
stuff, okay. Okay, so I think we can close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close.
Second.
Did we do a motion to approve the revision of the poll?
Well, we're gonna close the public hearing and then we'll vote.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you're all set.
Okay, thanks.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Have a good night. Okay, there's one down. Damon back? Dana back?
Don't say that too loudly.
I know.
Sean's leaving because he's got
John's
some
leaving.
poles that are down.
Oh, he is, that's right, the
That's
poles are
right, the
down.
poles are down, so, more than one down.
Okay. Okay, so I will entertain a motion. Now we have it, the next public hearing is on an approval of the transfer of a liquor license. I'll entertain a motion to open.
Motion to open.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Dana.
Okay, this is a legal notice, Town of Newbury, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass., public hearing. In accordance with Chapter 138, Section 15 of the Massachusetts General Laws, notice is hereby given that the Newbury Select Board, acting as the licensing authority of the Town of Newbury, will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, at 7:15 p.m. on the application of James Sullivan, Wyatt's Market, LLC, 60 Fruit Street, Newbury, Mass., transfer of liquor license from Narayan Patel Brahm, C1 LLC. Please publish once Monday. It was published August 8th of 2022.
Thank you. Julie, did you confirm the tear sheets that were received for the Daily News?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You are the applicant?
Yes. He is the applicant, or he's representative of the applicant. My name is Joe Devlin. I'm an attorney, partner in the firm of Upton, Cannell, and Devlin with offices in Boston and Newburyport. And James Sullivan is the proposed manager of record, is also the 50% owner, along with, he's an owner of the Rusty Can, another owner of the Rusty Can, Patrick Shea, is a 35% owner, 25% owner here. And the manager at the Rusty Can, Mike Mangone, is the other 25% owner of this entity.
Okay. Do you want to explain the project to us?
Yes.
what you're
they're-
doing,
They're buying the convenience store, and they're gonna run it as a convenience store. Maybe change the products a little bit, some of it to kind of match what the Rusty Can has to offer, or complement what has to offer. There's a pizza oven in the a newly installed pizza oven in the convenience store that wasn't used, so it's going to look into doing takeout pizza too. There was some talk about trying to do some prepared Rusty Can foods for sale, but from a public health perspective, that's very difficult. So that might come, but it's not likely. Other than that, they're going to run it as is, clean it up a bit, and do some remodeling to the extent of refurbishment is probably a better idea. Change the light bulbs, paint it, maybe reorganize the aisles a little bit, but it's going to be a convenience store.
Okay,
Sounds good.
good.
That's what I would have said.
Okay, so to my board, do we have any questions? Jerry?
Is that the building that has the sign that says Infinity Pizza?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about, okay.
It also says BGS variety somewhere amongst the,
Oh, okay.
amongst the.
But the big
So
sign
some of that
is
signage is coming
Infinity.
down too, so that you can read that a little bit better.
That's great.
Jeff, you have any questions?
Sounds good to me, too.
Diana? Dana?
This is the guy that smokes the meat at the Rusty Can every night from 10 to 8, in case you've never met him.
Quite a business, bravo.
Thank
you.
Congratulations, well
Nice
done. Well, seeing no questions from here, is there any written correspondence, Julie, from anyone from the public coming in? Okay, nothing. So I'm going to open the hearing to public comment. You guys can have a seat. Thank you very much. Is there any public comment from the public that wants to come up and speak to this transfer of liquor license? Going once? Okay.
You never know when it's this big of a crowd.
I know. This is not normal for us. Okay, so, there's no public comment. The board has no further questions or comments, then this is just a simple transfer of a liquor license, and all we're voting on tonight is to send it to the ABCC at the state level. They have control over that. This is an off-premise license. You currently have an on-premise license. This will be for consumption off-premise. Did I summarize it? Good enough? Okay.
Off to the ABCC,
Yep.
where it disappears for a while.
Yeah,
So I'll
exactly.
entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll entertain a motion to send the application up to the ABCC.
Motion to send the application to the ABCC.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, you're welcome.
Okay. Okay, now we have another public hearing that, I'll entertain a motion to open the public hearing for a special permit application for 1 Marsh Meadow Lane.
Lane.
Motion to open.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Dana, can you please read? the
Town
public
of
hearing?
Newbury Select Board Public Hearing Notice. Residents of the Town of Newbury and other interested persons, please note that on Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, at 7:15 PM, the Newbury Select Board will hold a public hearing in the second floor hearing room at the Newbury Municipal Offices, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass. 01922, to consider an application submitted by Damon Jesperson, 4 Marsh Meadow Lane, Byfield, Mass. Let's see, for a special permit to use existing barn at 1 Meadow Marsh Lane, Byfield, Mass. Assessors map R22, Lot 10, in the agricultural residential district for commercial and entertainment purposes. Property owner, Alana M. Jesperson, Trust, Alana M. Jesperson, Trustee. The application is on file for review during regular business hours with the town clerk and in the office of the Select Board, 12 Kent Way, Byfield, Mass. For more information, contact the Select Board at 978-465-0862, extension 301. All persons interested in or wishing to be heard on this special permit application should appear at the time and place designated above. Alicia Greco, Chair, Newbury Select Board, and it was published in the Daily News on August 8th and on the 15th, 2022.
Thank you, Dana. Julie, has the applicant submitted a proof of mailing of all the abutters on the certified abutters list and the tear sheets from the Daily News?
Yes,
They've got everything back?
yes, we have everything back.
Thank you. So I'm going to ask the applicant, Damon, to come on up here. Mr. Jesperson, can you please explain to the board what your proposed use is?
I have a prepared statement. Dear Board and people of Newbury, thank you for taking the time to review this permit application and listen to my proposal and the concerns and hopes of those who are both for and against these changes. I know that the special permit application can be a long and complicated process, and it is my hope that by bringing this permit application before the board, we can find a good fit for everyone involved. I've been informed that in my initial proposal, there is a piece of the request which must be removed because it violates a section of our building code. It is my hope that through amending this element of the permit and hearing the concerns of residents and abutters and addressing their concerns, we can find a way to use this building that is beneficial to the whole community. As many of you know, I grew up in Newbury and returned here after college. I worked briefly for the predecessor of the BCA, served as a selectman, and have a small farm attached to my house at 4 Marsh Meadow Lane. Much of my artistic career has been outside of Newbury because of the lack of opportunities for such work in our small community. In 2003, we began the process of applying for one of the first open space zoning permits to be granted in Newbury. 4 years later, I was allowed to begin an at-risk foundation for work on my house and started clearing trees and was able to complete the house enough to get an occupancy permit in 2009. During a snowstorm, while my brother was home from college, we took a walk on the property and dreamed up the idea of creating trails in the back area of the property and putting sculptures in the woods, and so began the idea of creating an art space for our community. Since then, my brother has built his own house on the property, and we invited another local artist to build on the property, and the idea has evolved and changed as the years have passed. In the last few years, the wooden barn at 1 Marsh Meadow Lane was taken down because of severe structural damage. We hired a crew to rebuild the barn using as much of the original barn as possible. The results are stunning. With the completion of the project, we saw an opportunity to do more than have horses chew on the 200-year-old posts. As soon as it was completed, people began asking if it was available as a venue for photography, classes, and weddings. We began to explore what options we had to use this space, and through discussion with the town, it seemed like there were two options before us. We could seek a special permit to allow us to conduct non-agricultural commerce on the property, or we could form a 501c3 arts and education entity, which would give us certain rights and exemptions. I felt the pursuing of the 501c3 would be doing an end run around the select board and the neighbors, which is why we are here today to begin the discussion of what is both an allowed use and a healthy use for this incredible historic space. We intend to continue to use the space for drying produce, but can imagine doing much more in the space. Since the rebuilding of the space, we have had family parties and reunions in the space, as well as small private concerts. In addition, we have hosted a craft fair last year where 23 local artists were able to share their work, and to which over 800 people came in the space of 4 hours. We had not prepared adequately for that level of interest in our event, and have since posted no parking signs along the beginning of Marsh Meadow Lane to ensure that all parking occurs on the property, not along Orchard Street or Maple Street. We were excited to host Ripple Effect on the 27th on the same permission that allowed us to host the craft fair, but because of confusion about the permit process and what was granted to us in the past, this event was shifted to Spencer Pierce Little Farm. It was very stressful and difficult to shift this event, and due to the vagaries around the permissions and allowances that we were seeking. We had a young female entrepreneur who wanted to bring community together around an environmentally sustainable products and practices, and to do so in the heart of our town, and because of changes in how the word commercial was interpreted, the event had to be moved. Very few farms in our area support themselves exclusively from farming. There are events that are closely related, like pick your own fruit, groceries, prepared foods, horse shows, and then fairly non-farm related events like historic baseball, circuses, and weddings. The question is, what is the right fit for this space? I believe that we have addressed some of the issues, such as parking, and should be able to keep all cars attending any event entirely on the property. I've also heard noise is a concern. I'm very sensitive to this concern, as I chose to live in my house in my hometown because I enjoy the quiet. I've spoken with a sound engineer about ways to keep sound from leaving the barn, but I do not believe that that will be an issue. Even with no mitigation, if the sound level inside the barn were over 110 decibels, it would drop below the acceptable level, generally held to be 70 decibels, before it reached a neighbor's house. And that does not take into effect the trees and other screening elements that would further reduce any noise. The closest structure besides our rental house is 250 feet away, and the next closest is over 350 feet away. That is not to say that someone playing music or auctioning off this year's garlic harvest would not be able to hear it, but that it would not be a disruptive noise, and you wouldn't hear it any more than the marching band at Triton, the highway, and it would be less loud than a leaf blower or lawnmower on your property line. I'm unaware of any noise complaints received by the police in the past due to the events that we have held on the property. The horse shows regularly use a loudspeaker to announce winners and upcoming events, and we have held 2 weddings in the orchard. They were family friends, and no money was exchanged, without disruption to anyone. Should we be allowed to host events that might wish to have music, I think we could condition the sound so as to not disturb neighbors. I think setting a decibel not to exceed at the property line after 9 or 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and not to exceed at 11 or 12 p.m. Friday or Saturday, with the understanding that should noise disrupt the neighbors, revisions would have to be made. I know that many people during COVID have taken to being outside at fire pits and playing music on small speakers. We would aim to have any noise we create to be less disruptive than this. To sum up, we hope to be able to expand the use of our barn from strictly agricultural use to include commercial uses. We intend to keep the nature of the agricultural community we are in. Like most farms in the area, we seek to generate interest and alternative income through offerings not purely agricultural based. If the board and the public would like to see the space, I'm happy to give a tour of the barn. We are looking for input in order to make this a successful fit for our neighbors and our community at large. Thank you for your help in making this process a success. Madam Chair, if it is appropriate, I'd like to ask Town Council to speak to the elements of the proposal that must be amended to allow this to go forward so that we can address that first. It is my hope by removing these elements, we may alleviate some of the concerns and not lose time on items that will not be in the final decision. Many thanks to you all.
All right, thanks, Damon. Don't leave yet.
Yeah, don't go.
Don't go, stay right there. Actually, I just need a little clarification, not a little, I need a lot of clarification on what you're gonna use this barn for.
So, in the initial proposal, I'd asked for a wide variety of things, and I'm hoping to hear input about what we can actually use it for. So, I would like to be able to do craft fairs. We've been asked to use it for a wedding space. I'd love to be able to have classes in there. What I'm trying to find out from working with the town and having the public hearing is what is a good fit for the town, because we want to be good neighbors. So it is my understanding that the entertainment element has to be struck, but I wanted to hear from the town lawyer and counsel on that, because that was not my understanding when I wrote the proposal. We have had many requests to perform in the space, and have been limited. I've said no in the past because we couldn't sell tickets because that violated the commercial element. I don't know exactly where we stand on that, and my understanding is that entertainment is not allowed, and I think entertainment includes music, but I was hoping to get clarity from the town on how it is interpreting that, so that I can amend to fit with what the town's needs are.
Okay, thank you. So I have Attorney Jay Tallerman here. He represents the town of Newbury from Meade, Tallerman, and Costa. I asked him to review the application, and if he has any concerns, I'd like him to let the board know. Attorney Tallerman.
Thank you, Jay Tallerman, Meade, Tallerman, Costa, and thank you for allowing me to participate remotely this evening. No value judgment whatsoever on the proposal, but in terms of the process of where we are, we're not in a particularly good place in terms of being able to receive this application. So I think it's all well and good that an applicant wants to have a dialogue with the permit granting authority, but you can't, given the requirements for public notice and for the independence of the body, that this isn't the way to do it. So to back up, to go forward a little bit, there was a discussion at the building department level, and the building department is the watchdog for the zoning bylaws, that the proposed uses were not allowed under zoning bylaws. After considerable reviewing, including review by our office, it was suggested, while not an ideal fit, that perhaps some of the elements that we're hearing about tonight might fit under a commercial, indoor, outdoor recreational context if the applicant doesn't want to propose a nonprofit effective use under the Doberman, which the applicant doesn't want to do. So with that in mind, in the letter of the building commissioner regarding that, I think we all expected that there would be a special permit application for a recreational area. There was not an application for recreation, indoor or outdoor recreation. Rather, there was an application for commercial entertainment, which is not an allowed use in the district. So it's important that we get the words on these applications correct, because not only does it help guide the board, and not only does it help the applicant frame what they're proposing, but the more important element to that is it informs the public of what may be proposed on this project and what they may wish to contribute to. The whole public hearing process isn't for the select board, it's not for the applicant, it's for interested members of the public. So if the applicant in fact doesn't want to pursue commercial entertainment as they've applied for, which I imagine they wouldn't want to pursue that because it's not allowed, the board would be constrained to close the hearing and deny it. And if the applicant instead wants to propose a special permit for something that might be allowed upon issuance of a special permit, then we're going to have to re-notice and republish that hearing. There's not adequate notice, sufficiently adequate notice to the public to switch gears in the middle of this notice public hearing, we would be constrained to kind of put the brakes on and have the applicant rethink this. So that's the kind of the legal position we find ourselves in. I leave it to the board as to whether or not you wish to advise or give some tips or advice to the applicant about how they may characterize their proposal. That dialogue could be helpful. It's a little unusual in that an applicant is usually left to their own devices to essentially decide what they want to do and speak with their professionals and their counselors or lawyers or engineers or partners or whatever it may be, and decide what they want to do, read the bylaws, and then present something. And then during the context of that public hearing, the board could perhaps shape that project. But I think it would be unusual for the board to tell the applicant what they can and can't do. That's really up to the applicant to make a proposal and do that. But really, however the board wants to structure that dialogue with the applicant, that's fine. But I would be reluctant to conclude that that dialogue can happen in the context of a public hearing that has been noticed solely for commercial entertainment, which is not allowed. I think we might have to shuffle this project a little bit, but I don't think, in fairness to the public who may be interested in this, we can have a hearing on something that is not properly before the board.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, may I respond to that? Now, in the post that was put in the paper, it said commercial and entertainment uses. So I feel like the commercial and recreational is covered under the commercial part of that. Why is that not true?
No, because it doesn't describe anything, nor does your application ever mention recreational. The entertainment, the commercial entertainment element of the zoning bylaws is a specific commercial use listed under the commercial uses. I think the only fair interpretation of what was presented was that it was presented for commercial entertainment purposes. In any event, if you had intended to do recreational and perhaps just kind of rounded the edges, so to speak, on your application, I'd have the original concern that the public doesn't have adequate notice as to exactly what you're applying for. And when I say I have that concern is not only for the board, not only for you, but it's for everyone concerned as to how they might provide input. You also would lay yourself bare to a challenge by someone who may not be in favor of your proposal to state that they didn't get adequate notice of what you're proposing. So I don't think it's a fair interpretation of what you applied for to say that it includes recreational. I don't think the term recreational is referenced at all in the notice provided to abutters and the notice that was published in the newspaper.
So we're at a point now, Damon, where I think, please correct me if I misunderstood you, Attorney Tallerman, but I think you have three choices based upon how this was posted and how this was written. I think the application and the public notice is for a change of use in a commercial and entertainment, which isn't allowed. So if we move forward on that, the board's gonna have to deny it because it's not allowed. If you choose to amend the application, you can, if you choose to amend the application to commercial recreation, as referenced by the letter from the building inspector or the building commissioner, we're gonna have to continue this hearing so that a new notice can be sent to abutters and published in the newspaper, and so that it's done correctly. If you're unsure what direction that you want to go in, you want time to think about it, including withdrawal or a different special permit, we can continue the matter, but we're not going to have any discussion on it tonight. You have to go back and regroup and decide.
I think at this point, it has to the only option is to continue so that we can resubmit something that is more in keeping with what the lawyers think needs to be done. I'm deeply disappointed because I think a lot of people have come to speak on this matter tonight. And so I feel very badly that they're all dragged out here tonight and that there was no time to make any adjustments before this. So you have my apologies. But I would say continuing, if continuing to a date certain is the way to go and then resubmitting an amendment or an application makes sense, I'll have to get legal counsel on that because I thought I was doing everything legally and it seems that I misstepped in the application. And so I think that probably makes sense to get a lawyer involved to help me frame the legalese properly, since it is being picked apart at this present moment.
I think that's a good idea. So,
Madam Chair,
yes?
speaking from maybe being on the planning board and a few other things over the years, but that use table is kind of complicated. It has extensive, like, reach. But right in that use table, and correct me, Jay, if I'm wrong, it says performing arts is prohibited. So you're going to really have to, am I right or wrong, Jay, do you know?
Yeah, no, a commercial performing arts center is, if that was the primary focus of this, that would be prohibited.
And we can't
talk
do
about
any.
whether or not an occasional performance might be accessory to something else that might be allowed, but certainly if the main focus was performances, that would not be allowed at all.
And we can't rule on something as a special permit,
Well,
except if it's prohibited. So that, you know,
my
so that use table is
intention
gonna
was
be a
to
key.
amend it to take that element out so that we could
Yep.
discuss it tonight. But Jay is saying we can't discuss anything because he feels like
It's not posted correctly.
it wasn't posted correctly, which I think it was, but I'm not a lawyer, and so I lose that fight.
So if we look, Attorney Talman, should we move this to a date certain?
I think that would be fair. Look, I think that Damon, you mentioned some wonderful uses that I'm sure that the community would benefit for, but of course the public has a right to comment on what his proposed uses are too. So he needs to put some thought in this. You're not constrained to close the hearing. I really would impress upon Damon to speak with an attorney or a professional that help shape this in a way that he could do a thorough proposal for you. And I think a continuance to a date certain, 30 days or so would probably be a great idea. And by then, hopefully there's a new proposal. But whenever that new proposal comes in, there may have to be potentially another continuance to allow sufficient time for the 14-day notice period. But I certainly think that's a fair approach to it, however long you want to continue it.
How long, Jay, can we continue this or keep continuing it without getting beyond the,
65 days.
is it, how long?
It's a special permit, so there's no time limit to
Okay.
conduct the hearing. So it's whatever works for the parties. I might suggest that because unless Damon can come up with kind of a solution to this in the short run, that you continue it for longer than 30 days to allow for that 14-day period. But I would continue it for at least 30 days, so as people can, on his side, can get their head together and figure out what they want to do with the property.
Thank you.
Is 30 days enough?
I would say let's start with 30 days. If I can't get everything together in time, then I would come back and ask for another continuance.
So, looking at the calendar,
Date?
we have a board meeting coming up on the 27th of September. Then we have another one on the 11th of September.
October.
October, and on the 25th. I suggest either the 20, I suggest moving it to the 25th. That'll give you enough time to get everything.
Of what?
Of October. That'll
I
give
might
you-
not be here in September either.
I'm not going to be here the 11th of October.
I'm stuck here.
So you're not here in September, Jeff, and you're not here the first week of October?
The first meeting in October.
All right, it's 25th of October it is.
So I'll entertain a motion to move the to continue the public hearing till October 25th, 2022 at 7:15.
Motion to move the public hearing to October 20.
Continue.
Continue to October 25th at what time? 7:15?
Yeah.
7:15.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight.
And thank you, Damon. Thank you, Jay.
Thanks for taking the neighborhood into consideration.
Yep. Okay, so that's that.
Are you set with Ms.
Thank you, Attorney Tallerman. I think we're done.
Madam Chair,
Thank you. You too, thank you.
if it did come out to speak, would they want to speak tonight during the? According to the.
Did we close the public hearing?
Okay.
Because basically, that was it.
But
You want to take
there's
a break?
lot of-
Yeah, let's give it a couple minutes to let it clear out.
This may have just already cleared out. Right. You know what I mean? Which I think is a good thing. I was just like,
We can't take public comment.
we were,
baffling the process.
well, we were talking about the difference between.
Well, it's not,
difference between entertainment and recreation. I'd like to hear the legal.
We need another.
But the application
You know,
will be
like,
different
in
though
other words,
too.
I think it would have been.
you need that application right.
If under the recreational permit application, if it's cut and dry about what he can and cannot do, that would certainly help the public make a decision on this. You know,
Okay, so where am I at?
Yeah, we did the coast sweep, we did the one-day liquor license and the new
We're on
business.
the review and approve to sign the fiscal year 23 appointments, right?
We didn't do the historic, I don't know when you want to do that one, the historic district.
Did I miss that one?
You didn't, I don't think you did that one, at least I left the room briefly,
That
but
one next. We'll
no.
do that one next.
Okay.
I can't whistle, so
Excuse me. Can I clear the room, please? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now moving down on the agenda, we're gonna, under new business, we have established local historic district study committees for the Lower Green. And I have Glenna and Robin Etheridge. Can you come on up?
Very good, thank you.
So can you give the board a little background on what it is you guys are trying to accomplish?
Okay, yes, good evening. I'm Robin Etheridge, and I live at 6 Newman Road, Newbury.
Glenna Etheridge, also
there.
same address.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. So we live on the lower green in Newbury, and on behalf of our neighbours and ourselves, we'd like to present a petition signed by 141 local residents, as well as an unsolicited letter from an out-of-state resident, which we've just put in, we've got it. For those who didn't see the petition, I'll read it. It explains everything fairly succinctly. And it starts, the Lower Green was the centre of the original 1635 settlement, which would become the town of Newbury. It is central to the story of our town and certainly worthy of the protection that would be provided by the designation of a local historic district. So in the interest of protecting this irreplaceable historic resource for the entire community, we, the undersigned residents of the town of Newbury, respectfully request that the Select Board appoint a study committee to investigate the possibility of creating a local historic district centred on the lower green. This study committee would be the first step towards obtaining a local historic district designation from the Massachusetts Historical Commission. That's what the petition stated, and as I said, it was signed by, just in the first week we did it in June, by 141 people. So we found that most people we spoke to were unaware that there is currently no preservation protection for the lower green, and we didn't find anyone who opposed the idea. So this petition has the agreement of all the residents whose houses abut the lower green, and we'd also note there should be no ongoing costs to the town should the designation be awarded. So we'd happily answer any questions you have. We appreciate your explanation of what the board's process is to respond to this event.
Thank you. So, Glenna and Robin, I'm just talking to the board here. Glenna and Robin reached out to me back in, oh God, when was that? 2 years ago?
A year ago.
Pre-COVID. A year ago, with the desire to create a local historic district around the lower green. So the Commonwealth of Massachusetts has a process to do this, and I'm just going to read this to the board so they understand a little bit, give you a framework of what we're trying to do here. So the first official step in the process of creating a local historic district is the appointment of a local historic district study committee by the Board of Selectmen or the City Council. The Historic District Study Committee will be responsible for conducting an investigation of the desirability of establishing a local historic district, developing a report to present its findings and recommendations, and conducting a public hearing on the proposal prior to its consideration by town meeting or City Council. The Historic District Study Committee is established by majority vote of the Board of Selectmen, or Select Board, or City Council. A sample vote to establish is below. So what they're asking the board to do is vote to establish a local historic district study committee. We're not going to appoint anybody to the committee tonight. We're just going to take a vote to establish the committee. Then once that vote's accepted, we have to form a committee, and there's certain parameters that have to be required by Massachusetts state statute that require certain people sit on this committee. So one of the, so nominations and appointment process for the study committee. Once the vote to establish the local historic district study committee is passed, that's what we're doing tonight, it is time to begin the nomination process for the committee members. They are appointed in towns by the select board and in cities by the mayor. However, the Board of Selectmen or City Council cannot simply appoint anyone they want to the study committee. Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40C, Section 4 requires that where possible, membership include nominees from the following organizations: the Local Historical Society, the Board of Realtors, and the American Institute of Architects. So for the address and phone numbers of these people, we have to contact the Massachusetts Historical Commission. Requests for nominees must be sent to these organizations by the Select Board. Each organization is requested to submit 2 nominees. Nominees are not required to be from among the membership of the organizations. If the organization submits the nominees within 30 days, then the Board of Selectmen or City Council must choose one of those nominees. If any of the organizations fail to submit nominees within the 30 days, then the Select Board may appoint anyone they wish. Then it goes on to say a study committee can be most effective if its membership embraces a variety of organizations and individuals whose interests and concerns reflect those of the community.
Does it give you any idea of size?
It didn't say size, but
I think it was 3 to 7, I read
It has
somewhere.
to be at least 3 Those
Okay,
three.
3 to,
I think it was 3 to 7. I believe I read that somewhere in there.
So besides the organizations specified in the Historic Districts Act, consideration should be given to the following: local historical commission members, architectural historians, landscape architects, lawyers, residents or property owners in the potential districts, business owners and Chamber of Commerce members, public relations professionals, planning board members, conservation commission members, open space advocates, institutional property owners, real estate professionals, building contractors or tradespersons, affordable housing advocates, and elderly housing advocates. So there's gonna be time to, we're not gonna appoint this committee tonight, but
Alicia, anywhere in there, does it give a mission? Or, Robin, are you aware of the mission of this committee? Is it to set the size of the district? Is it to set the specifications? Is it gonna be paint, chimneys, or?
There are very clear instructions to the committee what they got to do, including canvassing all the residents, the size, how big an area you want to encompass, whether it's just the green or the abutters or further. And basically, it's a pretty open brief. And what they've got to do is spend time canvassing that in order to get their presentation under the guidance of the Select Board to go to the Massachusetts Historical Committee to get their sign-off on it and get the designation. And there are about 220 historic districts in the state of Massachusetts. And in fact, most of the communities surrounding us have historic districts. Newburyport, Rowley, Boxford, Haverhill, we're the ones
West
who
Newbury.
are somewhat lacking in history.
So, yeah, Jerry?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when you have a historical district, it requires you to conform, like they won't let you change the color of your house, so there's lots of limitations. And so I'm very glad you said that all the abutters had signed on, and I wonder if they know that that will happen, may happen.
The part of the mandate of the committee, of the study committee, is to sort of decide what the historic district is going to consist of, meaning the size of the amount of the size of the geographical size, and what restrictions, if any, there are. So there may or may not be, and it's up to the committee and to decide that. And hopefully, with the, as Robin said, one of the important things the committee must do is talk to all the people whose properties might be involved.
Good, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah. And the whole process is the first step, and this is, I'll pass this around, this flow chart, but we have to vote to form this study committee. Then we appoint the study committee. Then the study committee meets, and then it conducts property owners' opinion surveys, preliminary report, and they submit the study to the planning board and to us, the endorsements. They have a public hearing, and then it has to go on the warrant, and it has to be voted at town meeting, and it needs a 2/3 vote at town meeting.
And then it has to go to the Historic Commission, which actually puts the final sign-off.
Yeah, and it's all governed by the state, at the state level. So, this is just the very first step. And after the study committee meets, they may decide this isn't what they want, who knows? So, you don't know.
Does anyone know if the state governs the historic district after it's formed, or do we still have the ability to intercede? And I mean, all of a sudden, do we lose control of a part of our town to Mass General Law?
Good question.
You know what? It'll come to light. It'll come to light. Whenever I hear state from local,
right,
I get a little nervous.
I sympathize. I'm sure that's covered in a very comprehensive
I mean, you've got
listing.
You've got a lot of people on the petition. You certainly have checks and balances of going to town meetings. So I mean, there's certainly merit like I said, I'm always a little afraid to give away our local property rights and local rights.
But there's a whole process, and we're just at the infancy steps of this. So I guess right now,
I think, I would say, just as an aside, that I think if the state took control of the Lower Green, none of the residents would agree to it.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna go anywhere if that's the case. But I don't know if that's the case or not, but I hopefully.
It'll be on.
I have a
it'll
quick
be
question.
on
Do
the
you,
checklist.
do you see anybody possibly that is not in compliance? Let's say we develop what the compliance is gonna be, but there's a home in the zone that's not in compliance. Do you see where they would possibly be forced to change what their home looks like? If
They allow.
and I know that this is all part of the process, I'm just curious.
They allow for that in that you can draw the boundary. So if there is something that stands out that isn't, either it's effectively the boundary is drawn out of it, so it's not in the district.
Oh, I see, so you would chunk them out of the district?
Correct. Yeah,
Oh, that's interesting.
see, so there's a
that is
link.
possible, yeah, so.
Asked Julie to send the link in the email with the agenda was on it to this document. And it goes through the whole process. They have this, I gave this to them a long time ago, but, and this will tell you, you have to determine the approximate boundaries of the proposed local historic district.
I mean,
It goes on, the
certainly,
property street addresses, ongoing gauging public opinion and building support, it's,
certainly you
whole
don't
process.
want it to become or take the place of zoning, which has gone to, but,
I don't think it can.
No,
well, surprisingly, it has ways to go around, but certainly we have an old Dana, we have an old school there that needs some protection.
Yeah, the
And
schoolhouse.
I think, is it your house on the corner, Robin?
Yeah.
So, and the other house that, belonged to store way down, that's historic, so the green is certainly, and what happens after that, but the green is certainly very
The
historic.
lower green is very important.
Very, very important.
Any other questions?
I just want to commend your efforts. We see people that want to protect their neighborhoods over the years. I've tried to, raise a little support to change some of the bylaws and things to protect the character of the town. And, people, it's difficult. People get nervous about their property rights or restrictions or things, but maybe this is a way where like a neighborhood that can agree to protect themselves without, having to clear something for the whole town, because what's right for your area might be different for Byfield. What's right there, or who knows where. But
Mylan is different too.
I'm really interested to see where you end up, because it might be a tool to use elsewhere in town in the future.
Can I give
Thank
you
you.
do you want our list of
Oh,
all
please,
the?
give it to Julie. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jerry?
Down at the Lower Green, there's a monument. And am I correct in saying it lists the first settlers?
Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
And
No, it's not.
I believe,
Hold on, hold on.
I believe it just lists men. There's got to be a few women who came on the boat too. So maybe that's something you could work on, because it's really not kind of fair.
So, Jan, do you want to come up?
I can.
oh, there's Jen.
Janice Forrest,
Hello, Jen.
Historical Commission Secretary Clerk. The monument was bought and produced by some of the sons and daughters of the original settlers that came over on the Mary and John. It is not a complete list. It is only the list of people who paid to have the monument built.
Like Ellis Island.
So we have the listings for the names on the monument in the schoolhouse, and we also have a list of all of the first settlers, which is very much different. Because I was not knowing this until I started looking things up, because I'm a transient, and I was like kind of shocked, because people come and, they stand here in front of it like this and take pictures of their family's name, but it's only the people who paid to have the monument, so it is not even a complete list. So, and if you have a problem with that, you have to contact the sons and daughters. We have nothing to do with it.
And-
Thank you, Jan.
And Jan, before you sit down, you're really the one that spends a tremendous amount of time keeping the school open for people to visit.
The
so-
Historical Commission
So
does,
people
yes.
should really realize that, so.
Yeah, well, they certainly do, because we've
Yeah.
already talked to them before. There's 3 of us here tonight, and
Good.
we all take turns keeping it
Perfect.
open every weekend.
Which is
So-
perfect. That's
Yeah, people are really
unbelievable.
excited to go in there. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
funny.
And Newbury Town Day, you had a record number of visitors,
Oh,
right?
We had over 80 people
Perfect.
in that little, and it was like wicked. I was just like
People didn't realize.
non-stop, so it was awesome.
If you don't go sit in that and just reflect about, wow, what went on,
Yeah.
you have to go to the little school.
It's great, yeah. So we're there every weekend from 1 to 3, from Memorial Day until either Labor Day, but we usually go till Columbus Day. So come on in.
Thanks, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to have the select board form a local historic district
Motion to approve committee.
committee.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bravo. So the next step would be, I'm gonna ask Julie to reach out to those people that we have to.
Right.
I'm hoping at the end of September, we'll be able to start beginning to form the committee.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so that's done. Then we have to review and approve and sign fiscal year '23 appointments. For the Human Resource Board, Patty Fisher. Patty, you're here. And, so currently, John Lucy used to sit on that, and he has resigned his position on that, and now Deputy Chief Patty Fisher would like to serve. Thank you for stepping up and serving.
No, thank you for considering me.
Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Certainly. So as you stated, the chief has stepped down. I know the position has been posted for a bit. I've met with the members of the board to get a understanding of what the role and responsibility is of the board, to make sure it would be a good fit for them and for myself as well. I understand that it's a volunteer position, and it seems to work. So if there are no other candidates more qualified than myself, I'd be interested in volunteering. Yeah.
Thank you. So we have no other candidates showing interest at all. And I guess I'm going to entertain a motion to approve Patty.
I move to,
Go ahead,
appro-
Chair.
I move to approve Patty Fisher to the Human Resources Board.
Second.
Second, okay, now we can go into more discussion. The chair of the Human Resource Board, Mark Gleckman, enthusiastically supports Patty Fisher's interest in volunteering. Since learning that the HO Board is an open position, Patty has proactively reached out to us over the past few weeks, sharing her desire to learn more about our charter, our history, and our process of working through matters that relate to Newbury's employee population. Patty has also shared that her master's degree classes include many elements of human resources, and she would really benefit from seeing how those theories get applied in the workplace, especially in the senior leader as one of Newbury's largest departments, the police department. A number of my board members, myself included, have taken the opportunity to meet with Patty over coffee, sharing individual backgrounds and collective interest commitment to support the town's administration and select board in making Newbury an appealing, fair, and responsible workplace for all its employees. He thinks you will be a great addition, as do I. So, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any questions of Patty? Jeff?
No. What's that?
Dana?
No.
Yeah?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Now you can
Just
step
like a
up.
brief minute just to express my experience with the board and thank them and thank the select board for the appointment 16 years ago. Actually, I believe the first chair was Don Bade, if that put a date to when I first started. Since his tenure, Steve Salvo was chair, and then John Wilkinson was chair, and now we have Mark, and it's been an amazing experience for me. I've gotten more out of the osmosis of those fine, dedicated people than I think I contributed. So I'm humbled by their expertise and what I did glean from them. I hope I brought some contribution to their success. They have a lot of success over the years, but I just want to publicly thank them for the experience they shared with me, and it's vast. They're a great, great, productive, professional board, and I think I've done my job a little better for having that experience. So I just want to thank them publicly.
Well, thank you for serving.
Thanks, Chief. Those
Thank
are
you.
some names that certainly bring back some memories, John. Was Don Bade Parker River Clean Water too at one time? You remember, J.R.?
That sounds right. I think he might have been.
Steve, that's a group of some great guys. Yeah. And John Wilkinson is over in Rings Island now. He had it for a long time. That's good.
Okay, so next, we have an appointment of a special police officer, R. Perry Collins. Chief, do you want to come up and speak? So I guess I'll entertain a motion to appoint R. Perry Collins as a special police officer.
Motion to,
Go ahead, Chair.
motion to appoint R. Perry Collins as a special police officer.
Second.
Okay, discussion, Chief.
Yes, Mr. Collins, he's recently retired police officer from Raleigh. He's got 36 years of experience there. He's fully certified with the new requirements. What we'd be looking for his appointment as a special is to assist us with traffic control assignments and special assignments, such as telephone poles going down on Parker Street. We're trying to fill details as we speak. So it'd be a great addition. There's no extra expenditures to the town. He's responsible for his own equipment and his own certifications. Again, it augments what we need to be able to call people out at a short notice to handle detailed information, traffic controls and such like that.
John, does that mean don't go home Parker Street tonight?
It's actually off of, it's on the Parker Street is clear. It's actually on the rail trail. The other thing too, he's a resident of Byfield, so that helps us too, he's local.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, any discussion? Dana?
No.
J.R.? Okay.
All set.
No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we have a request from the chief to reduce speed limits.
There are two areas in town that require, I believe, some attention from the board. The first one is the Plum Island Boulevard. And now, the Plum Island Boulevard is that short section between Old Point and the center, that stretch there where the Beachcomber is, the new Sunset Club. There's a lot of activity there, and it's still a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It's the only 30-mile-an-hour zone on the island, I believe. I'm not speaking for the Newburyport end, but at least for us. And it's also the most populated and busy with pedestrians and the businesses that are constantly hustling and bustling there with the traffic entering and exiting onto, access those businesses. So I think it's especially also with the recent paving, the great work that the DPW has done, it makes it a little bit more desirable to go through that a little bit quicker. So we need to reduce that, in my opinion, to 25 to be in conformance with all the other areas, and also, because of the activity that we have there. So that'd be the first. I don't know if you want to take them one at a time.
Yeah,
That'd
we'll
be my
take them one at a
first.
time. So
Yeah.
you're talking about from the Plum Island Grill, that
Yes, that
crossway,
intersection right there, yep.
Up to the center island.
Yeah, actually, there's a little section of the turnpike, the speed limit sign, I'm looking to change just to be sure on this. The speed limit changes to 30 just west of that intersection that you spoke of. So where it's posted 30, reduce that to 25. So it'd be a little section of the turnpike just before you get into that intersection you're talking about, and then the full length of the boulevard.
Okay.
Which you should slow down anyway before that
Right.
intersection, so it's
Right.
not bad.
Okay, any discussion?
About that one sign, or just can I just say something in general?
Go ahead.
I wouldn't mind seeing a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit throughout the entire town unless it's otherwise posted. But and I didn't bring that up a long time ago, but I've been thinking about that for a long time. I mean, I think Georgetown has it, Newburyport has it.
That's becoming very popular, yeah.
The city of Boston has it, and I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there,
Well, that's not on the agenda tonight.
Right.
J.R., do you have any comments?
Not on this, no.
Jeff?
Good.
Yes, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm in favor of it, but how do you enforce it? Because I know in front of my neighborhood, in where I live, it's 25 miles an hour and it's posted there. And, I mean, I spoke this past week with a woman who was walking her dog, and she said she was afraid to walk over the bridge because there's no sidewalks, and the cars and the trucks, they really go fast.
When you had that conversation with that woman, did you contact us to?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. When you hear those types of things, let us know, because it's very, very helpful, going off agenda a little bit, it's very, very helpful when those concerns, because they're all over town. You know, we do our best, but we can't be everywhere. But when we know the targeted area, we can do productive patrols. Hey, look, this particular time, it's really, picking up, it's getting bad. Not that you don't want to dismiss other times during the day, but to get the biggest bang for our buck, have that person contact us. We're very, very responsive to those concerns. And we're actually getting some posting. We're in the process right now. We actually just got the town approved those radar boards. We've got them deployed. One is on Elm Street, just as you come in from Georgetown. That was a problem area. And another one's going in the downtown Byfield area. And what's nice is they're data collecting, so that we'll be able to review that data and see when the biggest problem times are, and focus a little bit better on that. There's also going to be a deployment on Rolfs Lane. That's been an issue for a while, and I agree that needs to be attentive, patrolling there. And the other one was Hanover Street, right, just before the school, as reminders to slow down, please, and also to collect data. So some problem areas, which certainly what you're referring to does encompass that area. Hopefully with this data collection, we'll be able to.
And when you say data collection, does that tell you the number of cars that go by?
Yep, the
and
time.
how fast
Yes.
these cars go? Oh,
Yep,
okay, that's
yep, it gives us the time, the day, and the speeds. Yep, and it comes up on a graph, and we can start being a little bit more efficient, hopefully.
Yeah, that's great.
Those are good.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve changing the speed limit to 25 miles an hour on Plum Island Boulevard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next.
Next, Coleman Road, same issues, same request. Coleman Road, it's a go-through, especially during the school season. Yeah.
It's a Triton 500.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say that, but I'm glad you did.
What'd you say, Jan?
It's the Triton
Triton 500. Yeah, it's the exodus it's pretty hairy sometimes, but we are in awareness of the fact that Coleman Road is used a lot, and that's a 30-mile-an-hour zone. It's a windy road. If you're not familiar with it, there's some pretty good bends there, and you have Green Tree and Longview. They come right out right there. There's some bad intersections there, so slowing them down there would be effective. The other thing, too, in conjunction with everything I'm talking about, the DPW director has ordered a whole bunch of strictly enforced signs to be put underneath the speed limit signs. They make a difference, The strictly enforced kind of makes people take a little bit more notice. So we're trying a lot of different things to calm the traffic.
That's good.
Sorry.
I motion to approve reducing the speed limit on Coleman Road to 25 miles per hour.
Yeah. So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Questions of the chief?
My only discussion would be that everyone's got to watch out for the turn at the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
At the Jewel Mill.
At the mill,
because,
yeah.
I mean, I drive that on my motorcycle a lot. If a car's coming, I can't even get my bike around it because they're out so far.
And there's usually sand there, so be careful.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay.
Any-
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Dina, come on up.
Thank you. I didn't intend to speak tonight, but my name is Dina Sullivan. I live on Coleman Road. I lost my dog in June because of the traffic on that road, which prompted me to have conversation with Officer Lucy, who investigated the case. I am very grateful, Chief, that you are recommending that. I hope to also see the police there. You will, like you said, the Triton 500, and almost anybody who drives that will tell you that. I hope that the signs, when they are posted, are also very visible. I can tell you my husband has gone and trimmed some of those signs because the overgrowth of the the brush and everything else there. And I hope that the data collection that you are talking about in other towns will also be on Coleman Road, because you will find a lot of offenders. But thank you, I am extremely grateful.
All right. Okay. So next we have the Municipal Building Committee charge. So we need to form the Municipal Building Committee, and I asked the town administrator to formulate a charge similar to what we had for the police station charge, because that served the town well. So the charge is going to be a committee consisting of 3 voting members and 2 advisory members, will be appointed to work with architects and OPMs, which are owners, project managers, to deliver plans for and construction of a town hall that meets the needs of the town of Newbury and will address the projected growth of the same over the next 30 years. The committee shall coordinate all bidding and construction with the chief procurement officer of the town. No expenditure of funds shall be permitted without approval of the town accountant and chief financial officer. The committee shall conform to all open meeting law and public records law requirements. The committee shall meet regularly and shall provide the select board with periodic updates. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the Municipal Building Committee charge.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Should I recuse myself from any of this, or?
No, I
No,
don't think
this
so.
is the charge.
All right,
Nope.
good.
Actually, yeah. So this is going to cover all buildings?
Well, this right now is specific to the town hall. Like the police station charge was specific to the police station.
Okay.
It's the Municipal Building Committee.
Right.
They help with our municipal buildings, but the charge is specific to the town hall.
Okay. I thought that was the case, but you then mentioned 30 years, and I thought, oh, it's going to be more building than just town hall.
Well, no,
in 30 years.
the town hall has to, whatever design they come up with, has to meet the projected growth of the town of Newbury over the next 30 years. So it's not something we're gonna grow out of, something we need to, grow into. Any other questions? Jeff?
Nope.
Jerry, you good? Aaron? Nope.
Excited that we're moving ahead.
Mm-hmm. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now the next thing we have to do is appoint a municipal building committee. So I have reached out to the 3 members of the past municipal building committee that served us extremely well. They all indicated that they'd be willing to serve the town again to complete a town hall. John Keller, Eric Svahn, Bob Connors. I'm also appointing Martha Taylor, who served on the police station, but she's a wealth of knowledge and will be helpful to the committee. And I've asked Dana Packer to sit as a select board liaison. So the 3 voting members will be John Keller, Eric Svahn, and Bob Connors, and Dana Packer and Martha Taylor are going to be the non-voting members.
Motion to appoint the members as listed.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Discussion. Yes. Why are 2 members going to not be voting? Why shouldn't they have a vote? If they're going to do the work and show up, they should vote.
Well, the way the police station committee worked, I don't know about that. Martha, were you voting on the police station?
Not in the initial phase.
Yeah, the second rendition.
The construction committee.
Yeah.
Was the second phase.
Yeah.
So I think Chief Barry was the first iteration of the committee.
There's some, there could be some conflict, a perceived conflict, if a town staff member votes on their office space. So Martha Taylor will be helping design, it's her space, so that was one reason. Selectman Packer is liaison.
Well, then, we talked about, then it leaves 4.
4.
Which, it probably should be an odd number of
Yeah.
people.
And this committee may grow. It may grow to pull in others as needed, as iterations go, as they get along, so.
Dana, I kind
Actually-
of sat in the position you were in last time. I went to most of the meetings, and so it'll be good.
Oh, I'm not worried
You'll
about
enjoy
it.
it.
I'm excited to get this
Oh, you'll enjoy it.
started too,
Yep.
you know?
Jerry?
Yes, my other question or thought is, have we, asked people, residents of the town who have an interest? Because it's a very, very highly talked about issue, whether or not they would want to join. I mean, I know the three members who worked in the police station, I mean, if instead of just recycling them, if we could get some fresh blood from the citizens, if the citizens knew that they could sit on this committee, I think that would be a good thing.
The previous committee delivered us a project on time and under budget, and
During COVID.
during COVID, and the product they come up with was impeccable. I'm very supportive of running the same committee back because of the results we got.
Well, I just,
They're a rock star committee.
right, well, in addition to rock stars do occasionally need a groupie. And I think we should open it up for the town, for people who are really interested, for transparency and openness and.
Well, they meet in public. The committee shall meet regularly. They're going to conform to all open meeting laws and public record laws. They meet, I think they meet at 7 a.m.
Right here.
So they meet early in the morning, but,
Bring your coffee, Dan.
yeah, I'm not I don't particularly want to add any more members to this committee. I think the town is very lucky to have these three members. And that's who I support,
Yep, I agree.
so.
Well, I mean, you, on the one hand, you just said it may get larger, but now you're saying that no,
As needed.
as
Right.
needed.
Yeah, and if there's something changes and it needs to get larger and we need to open up to the public, that would be great.
Okay, well,
But
I
as
just.
of right now, this is the committee that's on the agenda, and that's who we're voting for.
Well, I mean, I just believe that town hall is the people's hall, and they deserve a voice on the committee.
Yep, and they'll have one, they'll open up, they'll have public comment, they'll be able to participate, just like they did before.
After the thing is all designed and whatnot, so. they
No,
won't-
no, they're gonna start meeting, they have to start meeting in public.
This is a preliminary committee too, it opens up.
Okay? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 No. Any opposed? No. Okay. Next. Okay, old business, none. Okay, town administrator's report. The town administrator is not here tonight, but I do have something to report on her behalf. The town clerk has requested that we declare the safe, there's a safe surplus. They're cleaning out the storage unit. So I'll pass the safe around. You can look at it when you declare. That's the safe. That's the outside, the other one's the inside. Oh, okay. It's empty.
That brings down the value.
I know.
So what are we doing with this?
Declaring
gonna
it
declare it
surplus for
surplus.
sale.
Oh, surplus for sale.
It'll go to
Sell it.
Yep.
auction.
I
Auction.
just want to show Jerry the inside page.
Yep.
She missed that piece.
Can you use that at the house?
If it had a key, my mother had a safe at her house and she lost the key, so it was pretty useless.
This is combo.
Yeah. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to declare the safe surplus.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I'll
Okay,
throw in one that's out of the First and Ocean Bank that's 5 times as big, and I'll give it away to the person that wants that one.
so we also have had some opera requests, some grant funding. The town clerk would like, is requesting $6,100 for poll pads for elections and town meetings. She's requesting 2 per precinct. The poll pad has replaced the outdated and inefficient paper model that is often the cause of long lines at the polls and inefficient election record keeping. The poll pad solution provides a seamless electronic voter check-in and verification process for election authorities. The poll pad is a secure Apple iPad application requiring no appendages for operation.
I move to approve $6,100 in ARPA funding for poll pad for town elections.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah. And what exactly does it do?
It's gonna replace the paper, when you go in, you check in with the paper.
Yeah.
It's gonna replace that.
And there's only gonna be two at
Two
each?
per polling station.
So,
So
are
four
people
total.
gonna vote on it? Is that what
No,
you
it's,
said?
it's, you know when you
No.
walk in
It's
and
just a
the
check-in.
two
Check-in.
people
Oh,
are
the
sitting there
check-in. Oh,
with
yes,
the
okay.
ring binder
Okay,
to
yes.
show like,
Yeah.
where do you live, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's all it does.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we also have a ARPA grant application from the police, fire, and town offices to, they're requesting 22 AEDs. What are those called? What are those? The defibrillators. John, do you want to come up? Let me just read this. The Town of Newbury Fire, Police, and Town offices are currently utilizing inconsistent and outdated AED devices. This appropriation will standardize all AED devices, provide training units, provide startup pediatric and adult pads for each device. John?
I couldn't have said it better myself. That's
You
pretty
must
much
have wrote it.
encapsulates it. What we have is some units, the ADs are the defibrillators that you carry in the cruisers and the fire department carries for providing shock for cardiac conditions. What we have found is we carry a different brand, a different style in the fire department, and you know, we have, I think there are 3 different models and brands that through time we have just acquired, and a lot of them are, you know, at end of life, no pun intended. But it's, what we decided is having them all consistent with, across the agencies makes much more sense. So now it's one set of pads that we have to purchase and keep in stock. If the police department uses a device, the fire department shows up on the scene, all they have to do is plug into the already deployed pads on the victim, and off they go, rather than having to, okay, is this the same style, the same plug, whatever. So, and also what we can do is replenish our supply right there at the scene. When they show up, we take their pads, put it back, now we're ready for the next call, and they go off and do their thing. So having that continuity across the board is, it makes the most sense. And we have to replace enough units now that it makes a lot of sense. And we're also going to deploy them in certain areas of town. There'll be one on this floor, one on the first floor, one on the, I think one at the library, I believe was one, and one at the COA, and one also on the.
The bathroom?
Yeah, one at the police station too, at the public access. So, and they'll all be the same, which is what we're striving for.
So I was pretty surprised that $49,000 is gonna replace 22. for these
And
devices.
they're giving us, yeah.
It would be much worse.
Yeah, without having the numbers in front of me, I wasn't actually prepared. I thought this was on there. But there's a trade-in value for the older units too, so we're getting some, you know, receiving some credit for that as well, so.
Okay.
I move
Oh,
to
yeah, trade-in,
approve
$600.
$49,184.50 for the police department to buy 22 new AED devices to be deployed in town offices and facilities and emergency response vehicles.
Second.
Any questions or any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one is, the last ARPA grant application is to replace a wheeled excavator. The amount requested is $195,000. It's from the DPW. We would be replacing a 2013 Wacker Newson wheeled excavator that was projected to be replaced next year on our capital improvement list. We have been having a lot of problems with the machine this season. It has been broken more than we have been able to use it. The machine needs a wiring harness that we can't get until February, and not sure that that is all of the problem. We need the harness so we can move forward in diagnosing the problem. The machine is the only machine we have that does this type of work, which includes all of the digging we do, replacing drainage pipes, and repairing catch basins and roadside mowing. The new machine would be $178,000. for the machine, $27,000 for the mower, and $15,000 for the job bucket. We would receive $25,000 for the old machine as traded in as is. James, can you speak to this a little bit?
Yeah, unfortunately, it was been working good until this year. We've had nothing but, we had a hydraulic problem.
You've had that almost 10 years.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, and it's slated like 8 to 10 years, and it's been looking good, so we've kept, maybe we kept it a little bit too long, but we finally got the hydro, luckily it lasted. We did all our work down Plum Island, got all the basins done, everything, and it broke, and we were able to stay busy doing other things. We finally got it back, went out and did the first job, and it was dead in the water. Had to, drag it, pick it up, get it on a low bed, because it doesn't do anything.
Oh.
So we had the company come down, they diagnosed it. We're not convinced that there's not a major hydraulic issue, but the harness is melting down at the fuse box and throughout. So we need to get that, but unfortunately we can't get the harness till February. So, and then at that point, we're not sure that it is 100% gonna fix the machine.
So the hydraulic is through the tranny and everything?
Yeah,
so it runs
everything's
the
by
machine.
wire now. All the hydraulics go by wire. And unfortunately, I mean, we have like a small roadside mower that we get like the grassy stuff, but all the stuff like she talked on Coleman Road that coming over, that's, normally by now we're way behind. We've been out on every road, but
So
it's
that's
just.
the thing that runs the
Exactly.
big flail mower that.
And it's a tough thing to rent. We've rented a few things to get other things done, but it's tough to rent an excavator with a mower on it.
In that machine, I remember when it came along, it was before my time in here, I looked at it and I was kind of like, what the hell are they gonna do with that thing? A wheeled excavator, almost a little bit kind of a thing of the past, but for around here, it turned out to be suited really well.
Yeah.
I was amazed what it would do.
And what it mows, I mean,
Right.
you can't compete with them. You can ride down the road sideways and
That thing made a fool out of me.
yeah,
after I saw what it would
it's like
do.
it's like we're missing our best friend down there. It's really limited on what we can do. And it's like a truck we can get by. We have other trucks, but we only have one of those. Yeah, it's an expensive piece, but I mean that's the only one we got.
So, do they have one on the lot for you?
Surprisingly, if you can believe it, that they actually do have one. They ordered 2 years ago, and they got 6 of them the other day. So we would
Okay.
be fortunate enough, but as everyone knows, you can't get anything.
Right. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And it's not really directed to you, but is there capital improvement money already allocated for this piece of equipment
Next
for
year.
next year?
Mhm.
But it's there, right? So if that's not
Well,
ARP funds,
It's
not.
budgeted. I'm not gonna say it's there. It's budgeted. It's in the capital.
Yeah, like it's on the radar, so like when we do budgets, I'd be coming forward to the.
So my question is, if we use the ARP funds to purchase this, next fiscal year, would there be $195,000 that goes back into free cash?
No,
There won't, it wouldn't be.
no. We only can deal with what we have this year.
But
Next year, he's gonna
I wouldn't be
request.
looking for at town meeting.
Right, so next year, he would make this request, and if there was money in the budget, whether it's in free cash or wherever else Tracy can find it, it would have to go to town meeting, and we'd have to.
No, I'm not saying to borrow additional money, I'm just saying the money that we have allocated.
Do we have you're asking me if we have $193 right now in the bank for this item?
Yes.
The answer is no.
No.
We have the money in the bank, whether it's gonna be allocated for this item or not, we
Gotcha.
don't,
So it hasn't
we
been
haven't got there
specifically-
yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we don't have money in the bank for everything on the capital plan. That's what the town administrator does.
One
It's
thing I
a
would like
juggling
to
act.
add to the discussion, I don't really deal with construction equipment, but I deal with a lot of ag, and you cannot buy large, new farm tractors right now. You can't get them. It's a
See,
huge.
that was my
It's a huge
concern.
wait time.
Yeah,
So there is
believe me,
a- We have to factor in that they have this now, and what's the wait if we delay a little bit and don't.
Yeah, no, we need to approve it tonight. Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, James.
Thank you.
Now, trim those trees.
I do.
And I do think that it should be said that the highway department, James, thanks for doing a good job.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You get the roads, I'll say it again, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. The roads in Newbury are the envy of the surrounding communities.
No, we're lucky. Everyone down in my department's great. We really are lucky. Everybody's.
Or as a friend of mine likes to say, you cross the New Report line and you fall off a cliff.
Yep. Okay.
State highways going through our town, you can't say the same thing. Holy Moses.
Yeah, your success is not failure, thank you.
Okay, so we have a letter from Xfinity under correspondence. Dear Chairman and members of the board, we are committed to keeping you and our customers informed about changes to the Xfinity TV services. Accordingly, please note the following changes which will occur in your community. Effective September 13, 2022, EPIX will no longer be available on channel 881, but can continue to be viewed on channel 332. EPIX HD will no longer be available on channels 885 and 1790, but can continue to be viewed on channels 323 and 1871. Effective September 30th, 2022, Olympic Channel will cease operations. Customers are receiving this information in advance via bill message. Do not hesitate to contact Kerry Morris at Kerry_Morris@Comcast.net if you have any questions.
On that note, just, when I drove down Orchard Street today, there were several Verizon trucks doing something to the wires. I didn't realize that we had Verizon in our town.
We don't.
Yeah, so what would, okay, that was my thought.
Unless it's Verizon Wireless, maybe it's something to do with the Verizon Wireless.
Okay.
That's right in my neighborhood. I think they're setting up for Vios in our town. That's just my gut feeling.
Reach out to Verizon, Julie, and ask them what their intentions are in the town of Newbury.
Because they've been telling us for years that they will bring us Vios.
Well, I know, when I asked them, they
and-
said they won't lay it here.
Right.
They were around the corner in West Newbury. I knocked on the door, and I said, "Oh, you coming down this road here into Byfield?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, we're coming down there." I said, "You are?" I said, "When are you coming down here?" And he said,
We get lunch.
He said, "Are you in Newbury? Are you in West Newbury or Newbury?" I said, "No, I'm in Newbury, in Byfield." He said, "Oh, yeah, we're not coming there." So they went down West Newbury. West Newbury was one of the first towns that they laid it in. So you'll look into that, Julie? Thanks, Jerry. Next time you see them, will you not ask them what they're doing?
Yeah,
It would be helpful. Okay, so next we have review, any meeting updates. I don't have any meeting updates. Anybody have any meeting updates? No meeting updates. I know there's a DCC, they schedule the DCC meetings. We appointed Jerry but Julie, I'm gonna ask you to post those meetings.
Yep, just in case.
Any of us, other
Right.
board members wanna go, just have it
course.
posted.
Yes.
And, the chair of the school committee, that's a rotating thing, that rotates season towns, but I asked Julie to help you guys schedule this here for
Yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so that's
yeah.
all set. Okay, review of meeting minutes.
And make sure we get notice again. so-
Reminders,
yeah,
yes, I
remind-
will.
Right, Jerry?
Yes, and where it is.
Yeah, because it moves.
First one's here, isn't it?
I think it's
First
first
one's
in
here?
Triton.
Is it
Second
right?
one's
Okay.
Motion to approve select board meeting minutes from 7/26/22.
Second.
I'm gonna,
Any discussion? You weren't here, right?
but I reviewed the meeting, so I think.
Okay, you can vote on. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Warrants, motion to sign warrants.
Motion to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Executive session, none.
Motion to adjourn.
I agree.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.